Let's talk about activities. These are a really important part of your whole application process and something to put a lot of thought into as you're going through the college planning process. I'll share my screen with you and we can go over examples of activities, but I want to start first and foremost with that first underlined sentence you see: don't undervalue anything you do, everything counts. When you apply to college, if you watched my video on how an admission decision is made, you will know that colleges review, for the most part, holistically, looking at the whole person. I will say this loud and clear: you are more than a transcript. You are more than grades, black and white numbers and letters and a GPA. There is so much more to you besides just attending school, whether it's in person or through the computer, virtually. There is so much more to you. So your hobbies, your interests, your talents, everything you see here on the screen will be shared through your college application. So let's just go over a basic list of what those activities are. First and foremost, your sports. If you do play sports, whether you play them for Central, a club outside of Central that has nothing to do with the high school, or through maybe your local recreational program. If you were involved in any type of sport, that is absolutely considered an activity. There is a lot of that goes into sports. There's many hours that go into it, whether it's on the playing field, in practice, in the gym, training, whether it's with your team or on your own, traveling to and from games and tournaments, team meetings. All of those hours count. So it's really important that if you are an athlete of some form, that you always put that information on your college applications and give it the hours that it deserves. If you're somebody who just loves fitness and you go to the gym and that takes up hours every day, or you train at home, you are an athlete. So there is a lot of information that should be shared on your college applications about physical sports, physical fitness. That's really important stuff. Clubs, obviously at Central, we offer a lot of different clubs, but perhaps you're part of other organizations outside of the school, whether it's with a religious organization or some other type of service organization. Any club you're part of should be shared on your college apps. Community service, of course, again, service projects with the high school or things you're doing with your family through your church or synagogue or local township groups. That is really important. You don't have to have service. I get that question all the time from students. I don't volunteer. Should I start volunteering somewhere? If you volunteer because you love volunteering and you enjoy it, that's fantastic. And you should showcase that on your applications. But if you have other things on this list besides volunteer work, don't feel like you need to go check a box and volunteer somewhere. It is not a requirement for colleges. If it's something that's in your extracurricular, portfolio and time spent, that's great, but it's not something you absolutely have to do. Same with the next one, employment. Oftentimes I get questions from students: do I have to have a part-time job? Will it look weak on my college apps if I don't work? No, it will not. But if working is important to you, making some money, getting a job in retail or a store or babysitting, anything where you're making money, being an employee somewhere, that's great. But if you don't have a job because you're doing other things on this list or putting a lot of time into school, that's perfectly fine as well. You don't have to have everything on this list. We're just going over all of the things that colleges consider. Quick note back to employment. I mentioned babysitting. Babysitting is often a cash job. So a family pays you money to watch their kids when they're not home. It's a very important job, and you make cash. You don't make a paycheck. That's still a job. So students ask all the time: just because I get paid cash for a job, maybe you're helping a neighbor, you're doing yard work or plowing driveways, whatever the case might be, if you're making money, it is some form of employment. So keep that in mind. Any honors or awards you've won in high school, whether they're academic related or outside of school, maybe it's a black belt, maybe it's an award at your church, something like that, all of that counts on your college apps as well. So make sure you're keeping track of that. And now we get into some things that might not seem like activities, but they fill your time. So if you have hobbies, perhaps it's jewelry making, maybe it's website building, maybe it's buying and selling things on eBay. We've had a lot of students do things like that. Maybe it's some type of hobby that you spend a lot of time on, and it takes up your time from doing other things like a club or volunteer work. It's important you share that with a college, that they know what fills your time as a teenager other than school. If you have any special talents, maybe you love to do art, but it's not formalized, but perhaps you paint pictures for somebody, or another type of talent that you cook or you bake, and you do that a lot for family or for friends or for neighbors. These are things that fill time and they need to be shared with colleges. Your summers are really important. You get about 10, 11, 12 weeks off in the summer. What are you doing with that time? Are you working? Are you volunteering? Are you traveling? How are you filling that time? That will be shared with colleges. And then lastly, one that oftentimes students forget about is your home responsibilities. If you're looking at this list and thinking, I don't have time to do a lot of these things because I've got to take care of my brother and sister who are home with me because my parents work, or perhaps we have a family member, grandma, grandpa living with us, and I have to help with their care. That's a home responsibility, a family responsibility, and that needs to be mentioned on your college applications. There's a category just for that. So when you approach the application process this coming summer and fall into your senior year, you will see that when you fill out activities and share them with colleges, they want to know all of these things that you do. I often tell students, if it can't fit on your transcript, so it's not academic, it's not a class you're taking, chances are it's some type of activity. There'll be a couple exceptions to that. There's obviously going to be downtime in your life. There's going to be TV and Netflix. There might be gaming, things like that. Those are normal teenage activities. But think about the things that you do that really fill structured time in your life. Hobbies, talents, things you're proud of, things you're passionate about. That's what really needs to be sharing your college applications. We'll spend a lot of time this summer and fall going over how to share them, how to really make your activities shine. So stay tuned for that information. You'll always find that if I'm meeting with students to talk about college, I will always ask, give me a rundown of your activities. I want to know what fills your time. And we're really looking to collect that information and help you strengthen your applications even more. Any questions about activities, how to get more involved in things, how to structure your activities, what you should and should not do, and all of those questions, just reach out to your counselor or myself, and we're more than happy to help you.